Hello, welcome back to the garage. Today I'm actually building stuff.
Oh dear.
Oh, fire. You don't need a special tool, you need a special tin. Okay, so as you may have seen by my community post, the last time I came out here to film stuff failed miserably. The cold weather got to the phone, I hadn't got a full charge on it. I thought the lead would keep it going. It didn't happen. To be fair, all I was doing was spraying some silver paint at the suspension components. I masked them up and I sprayed them, but so yeah, it was silly, ridiculous cold, -2, -3, it's freezing cold out here. The little fan heater was struggling to even warm up the stuff I was painting. So yeah, win some, you lose some. You get the gist. I painted stuff. The one cock up I did was I picked up this when I went to the shops. VHT red. I thought, lovely, red calipers. It's the correct colour for a caliper in my view. And yeah, I didn't notice it. It doesn't say on the top, just says VHT red. VHT paint. It's only when you look on the back, VHT matte red. A matte red caliper. Well, let's see how that looks, shall we? It's red. It's got plenty of coats of red on it, but it's matte paint, not gloss paint. So yeah, I don't know. The jury's out. I've got some acid etch I've got to take back to Hal Frauds later in the week. So yeah, I might take that back because I didn't use it, and I might get some gloss red or maybe some paint, some brush on enamel or something like that. I don't know. I'm just not happy with how that matte red looks. So yeah, I'll leave that one alone for now, and I'll come back to it. Yeah, onwards from that with today, I'm going to go with starting at the easy jobs and building up towards the more complex ones. So I'm going to start with putting together the lower suspension arm parts before I start pressing bearings into the upper suspension arm parts and the hubs themselves. Okay, that's this lot assembled. Everything that needs to be together is together for the lower arms. Let's start on the upper arms, and for that I'm going to need to delve into this mini spares box what did turn up the other day. New top arm bushes and pins. MSK001 is their part number. The upper arm repair kit, well worth doing. It is £12.81. Plus the VAT obviously, so I got 2 of them, 1 for each arm, but yeah, that's the part number. Now with these kits, it has been a long time since I've done these, but you can come along with the journey as I try and remember how the hell it all goes. You get these, they've got the nice new, they're not rubber, they're more like a silicone rubber than an actual rubber, but yeah, some new rubbers to go on the 2 ends. You've got new bearings, a new pin, washers, yeah, everything is here. Everything looks nice and shiny and new, so it's just a case of assembling all of that onto there. So the first thing I'm going to do is press the bearings in. Now the nick of days of old school, learned how to do stuff the way my dad did it, the way anyone did. You just start hitting stuff with a hammer because you didn't have a press, because a press wasn't the kind of thing you had in your own garage. I'm not Nick of the past. I'm more modern Nick who has invested in some tooling. So I'm going to go and I'm going to use this bad boy. This is a 12-ton jack, basically a bottle jack with a couple of springs to keep it up. It's quite a simple bit of kit. I've pressed all sorts of bits and bobs, you know. Yeah, you just don't know when you're going to need it, but yeah, it's great. Get one. So yeah, there's, luckily enough, this outer diameter here is about the same size as what you need for pressing the bearing in. So I'll take it gently, but got the nice flat plates down here, and don't even need the arm. Just presses in nicely. There she blows. Maybe get the arm on there for the last little bit. There we go, we'll stop there. Just below the surface. Let's release that out of there. There you go, and it goes back up. Now, that's all gone together nicely, as I'm sure you can see. Bearing's gone in nice and flush, it's not got any dents in it, and I have positioned it so that you can see, I don't know if you can see, but the numbers are on there. I always like to do it, I like to put the numbers so they are pointing out, so you can look at it and go, oh, that's a this and that number, whatever it is. It helps for identification later down the line. So grab the other one, push the other one in. So we have two bearings in, they've not been damaged, and that's one arm partially assembled. All right, let's crack on with the next bit. Okay, so if you are without a press or even access to a press, you could do it the way I used to do it, which would probably be put a club hammer on your bench there, get someone to hold it there, and then you tap, knock one in, turn it over, knock the other one in. You could obviously use the vise to knock down onto, or if it's a big enough vise, open it all the way out and use the vise to wind it in. You know, or I have seen people nut and bolt. Just use a nut and a bit of studding and a couple of big washers, and use the nut to wind it in. You know, there's many ways you can skin a cat. Okay, so once you've got your two bearings in, it really is a very simple case. Just slide these bits on. You can give them a grease, give it all a grease up first, but I'm going to pump this full of grease as and when. So right, the pin is universal, if I remember correctly. I should remember that the distance at the end here is the same on both ends. One might be longer than the other, but memory is telling me that they are both the same. What is different is these two end caps. This arm is obviously got to go a specific way. So if this was the the right hand side, driver's side of the car, the arm would go like this. This one I've already done would go here. Now, I'm pretty sure that plate actually goes at that end. I can't remember. There's also there's a fat spacer and a thin spacer that go like so. When you come to put it in the subframe, you'll know whether it's the right way around, because you can't really get them in wrong. I can't remember which one it is at the moment, so I'm just putting them on like this. That one's on there. Now I'm just putting these on either end at the moment because it doesn't really matter. I will sort that out when it comes to putting it on the subframe. I just need this whole assembly to be ready to go on the car when I'm ready. So if it's built, it can just be bolted on. There we go. So that one's in there. That one goes on there. Lock nut, washer. Oh, and you've got that plate. Yeah, so part of my brain is telling me that one goes at one end, one goes. Oh, I can't remember. And so it's fairly obvious when you come to build it up, and I will cover that in the appropriate video, which, if I remember to do so, I will put on the screen a link to it there now. But in the meantime, I will put this on there. That is the top arms built up. Now there's new people screaming at it going, you haven't greased it, you haven't done this, you haven't done it. I know. I haven't even put the grease nipples in yet. it's on the to-do list, and I will be greasing these before they get assembled. But right now, that is as assembled as I need it. I've got to take the pin out to put it onto the subframe. So yeah, it doesn't really matter right now. It's assembled as much as it needs to be. It's ready to go. When it comes to putting on the car, yeah, I've got to grease it all up, and yeah. Okay, right, what's next? Hubs. Yeah, now this is a bit more tricky. So yeah, I've got inner and outer bearing there, inner and outer, and I stacked these the way they'd gone. So these have been through my parts washer, they have been cleaned. As you can see in there, if I get it really close, it's actually lovely and clean. If you can see inside there. Nonetheless, I'm still going to get a clean bit of rag and a bit of brake cleaner. I'm going to give them a spray and a wipe over to make sure there's no residue of any kind left on there. Okay, now because I know which way around these were going to go, we had outer, which is yay, and we had inner. So I know which goes where, so I'm going to spin these over, and I'm going to do this one first, mainly because with a press, this one is a hell of a lot easier. The reason being is you've got a nice flat surface here to sit on the press. Now, I haven't got any fancy bearing press tools to push it in. What I have got, and what fits quite nicely, this is a Roebuck 46mm socket, and it goes very tightly into here, but it doesn't lock up, and it sits nicely over that bearing race. So I can push the outer bearing race in on the press, and then I'll spin it over, and I'll probably put that very same socket resting on there this time, and I will find something else to push that one in, or I'll find something, I don't know, making it up as I go along. We'll see how this goes. Yep, that one is nicely in there. Okay, now comes greasing the bearings. This is the way I was shown how to do bearing greasing. I was shown on commercial vehicles, so we would get an amount of grease and just literally run around the back of it and just spin it round, just gradually push the grease in, and when you ran out, smear it around, get some more, and just keep going and keep going and keep going, and just sort of pack the grease inwards towards the front face, and you'll know when you've got enough in there because it starts to come through on the inner face. What people tended to do is they put a load of grease around the outside and it all slides off, and then the bearing fails really quickly because it's run out of grease. The grease just all slid off and went elsewhere. So if you pack the grease on the inside edge, the theory being that the grease that was there would end up stuck to the inside, and it would lubricate it for a lot longer. Now the grease I'm using is an LM2 lithium multi-purpose grease. It's what's suggested in the old Haynes manuals and the old workshop manuals, and again, never had any issue. There's probably some newfangled super special bearing grease, but yeah, never had an issue with this stuff. It just works. It's hard to see if I can get the camera to focus in. The inside, the grease is now starting to push all the way through. It's come level with the end of the ball bearings. Lovely, that's packed in all the way around. Just wipe a little bit around the outside. Make sure it spins. There we go. So you've got clearance. And now this one can go in there. You give it a little twist, make sure it seats. There we go. That is a packed bearing. A little stiff, but when it gets clamped up, you'll have much more force on it and we won't have to worry about that. And that will last for a very, very, very long time. Right, I've got new seals to go on this. The old seals, I'll be honest, were still quite soft and had a lot of pliability to them, but they are old seals. They've been in this car for 15 years. So how long are they going to sit there and be absolutely fine before life gets to them and wipes them out? Now, these are nice and easy ones to push in. I want to get that back my 46mm socket, wherever it's gone. Yeah, a bit of a knock on this one. And tap tap. There we Oh, too far, too far. Well, that's a sod. The situation has been resolved. Wasn't too tricky, to be fair. I prized the seal back out because I don't sit in with too much force. Prized the seal back out with there, rested it on my socket instead, and I just tapped it in square with the hammer. Yeah, happy with that one. Let's spin this over now, and let's get this side ready. So it's going to be a repeat of the same. Pack this with grease, put it in. Then the spacer's got to go in the middle. Shall I do the spacer now? Yes, let's do the spacer now, shall we? Right, yeah, I'm going to pack some grease into this, and then we can get that in place. Okay, that bearing is greased and it's in, and the spacer ring is now slid in. So in case you're wondering, the spacer ring is this thing here, right at the very back. Okay, so that is in there because you don't want that part of the seal running right up against the bearing. You want to be able to push this thing. You haven't really got a reference point like you have for the front. Again, let's just double check that this will push in nicely there. Yes, that will do nicely. So you do push this one right in against the seal. And I'm just going to tap it. Let's have a look. Are we down? It does appear so. Even all the way around? Yes. Right, so that sits there. That sits on there. Hey presto. Then your CV would go all the way through and bolt up tight. Like so. Does that all make sense? And there we have one partially assembled hub. Now I've still got to do the discs, the drive flanges, the calipers and all the rest of it. But I'm not going to go down that road just yet. I just wanted to get this part assembled and then get the other hub done as well. Right, let's get the other hub done. Okay, so as you can see, here we have the finished for now article. All I'm going to do as a finish up is, as I've done to this one here, I've just tidied up the drive flange, whizzed the nut on the top so it can't fall out, and I've put the new steering arms on. I've got a pair of new steering arms to go on this because the old ones were yeah, they'd seen a lot of life, and I just thought, you know what, while I'm replacing stuff, I'll put on a set of the new Coupe Press ones. These actually look thicker and sturdier and beefier, but yeah, rest assured these are meant to be the Coupe Press arms. So these were spares from the rallycross car. We used to bend these like they were going out of fashion, but it was easier to bend and replace these if you had a heavy impact than it was some of the more heavy duty ones. So yeah, maybe there's a good reason we didn't run these ones. Yeah, so the last real part of this is put the drive flange on and knock it down. See, it's going to be a bit of a fiddle to do with one hand. There we go, a persuasive tap. Now I'm going to get the lock washer on that. There is a method for seating this properly with a nice big special washer, and I'll cover that another time. But in the meantime, let's just a little bit more. Beautiful. So that one spins around nicely, and the last part would be to get the arm on and the locating rings. So I'll show you this from up here. Inside these top two little rings on here on the hub, you have these locating rings, and they just mean that it's not just the bolt doing the work. They are also being held, so on the inside of this you've also got the recess for those rings. So it's just like double security for your steering. The bolt does go all the way through and it does hold it, but it's not the only thing that is holding it. I'll put this on a bit. Oh, this is going to be a pain into the butt. There we go. That one doesn't want to go in. That one does. Okay, so chances are I've just got a little bit of it's not sitting quite straight. Yeah, there we go, that's gone. It will go. I'll just wind this on a little bit by hand. Yeah, that's putting in the threads nicely. Same as that one. There is a specific torque for these, which I'm not doing now. This is literally just so I've got everything assembled. There we go. They're just bolted down for now, so I can't lose anything, and we're not going to get any dirt ingress. But one assembled, two assembled. Right now, I'm not going to do these ball joints. It is 11:30 at night. I'm probably keeping the neighbours awake as it is, and I'll be honest, I'm tired. So I'm going to say thank you for watching this, and I'll see you on the next one, where hopefully more stuff will happen. All right, see you on the next one.